So first, can you tell everybody who you are as far as reference to all of this?
I am Darion's youngest child's mother, his youngest son's mother.
Mm, okay. So when I first spoke to you behind the scenes,
Mhm.
you said respectively you are not going to bash, which I can 100%. I have children as well, and they have a father, don't get along, but I feel I understand where you're coming from with that. So
Right.
with that being said, what did you want to add, or not, I'm sorry, add, but what did you want to speak to as far as the first interview with Dina? Is what I'm assuming you're speaking about.
Um, Really, I'm just to hear one. I want to clear my name, but when you reached out to me and asked me to do the interview with you, I was like, okay, I didn't even know this was going on in the
Oh
background.
wow.
I am the baby mother or the goddess that she was saying he dealt with for 2 years and he left me after I had a child. Like, that's not true.
Mm,
Darian is a very private person. Okay.
okay.
So you are going to be allowed into his life in reference to whatever it is that he's dealing with you. So he's going to answer your question to get you off of his back. But Darian never left me. I left Darian. Um, it was some things he definitely wants to be in his child's life. He is in
Mm,
his child's life. His son knows who he is. His son is 3 years old. Um, if his son needs something, I can hit him up and he's gonna make sure it happens. Darian loves his kids, like no matter what. So that's definitely not the case that, he left me with a child and, disappeared. Of course, like every other parentship, co-parenting, you're
right.
gonna have your issues. And
Yes.
we've had our share of ups and downs. But when it comes to, the whole situation, a lot of these things Darian protects me from. So I don't know it because he knows that my tolerance level for low vibrational energy is not there,
Mm,
right?
right.
So a lot of things like I've already heard about. Other things, I learned about from looking at the video, but that's definitely not it. And she pointed out that he left me after 2 years when I had my child. Well, this is the thing that I want to ask every woman that's looking at this review, that is trying to bash, yet another man. Why would you deal with someone that you feel like is not taking care of their child? Why would you deal with someone that you feel like left their child's mother and it's not doing what they're supposed to do? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right.
it's the pattern that I see with these women is that they're low self-esteem, they have low self-esteem and they're trying to buy love when it comes to a person, or you're trying to do whatever it takes to be in someone's life. Just as she's not Caucasian, right? The one that
Right.
lacks melanin, but she's not Caucasian. But just
Okay.
as her, just as the baby mother with the two kids, as everyone that she mentioned, you're doing whatever you have to do to stay in his life, to be active in his life at one point or another, right? He has a lot of people that love him and that she spoke to in reference to the video. So it's like, as her, you did what you felt like you needed to do to keep him in your life. You did what you felt like you needed to do to have him around you. Darian, she said something about she needed to make sure he was looking good. Darian has plenty of clothes. Darian has always had, clothes. I've known Darian for 10 years.
Mm,
Darian has always had clothes. He's always cared about his appearance. He's always made sure that he looked good. He's never walked anywhere. So if she's using that for a metaphor of not having a car, then I get that. She says that they were together for 2 years. So around that time, it had to be, he got with her after he and I separated, which was, I think, 2018. The reason that he didn't have a car during her time is because he didn't have license, so he couldn't get one. And
okay.
his time had just came up, so he had just got his license back at the end of 2018. And he probably gonna get on me, but he's very private. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So that's why
Right.
he's laughing at these like ha ha ha, because he knows that this stuff isn't true. A
Right.
woman gave into him and did it unselfishly because she loved him, right? Because you wanted him to be around. Love is an ever-changing emotion. Love didn't make you do it. You did it because you wanted to do it. But there was no equal reciprocity from the beginning. So how can you now be upset that he is not doing what you wanted, or you didn't get the outcome that you wanted, when you knew at the beginning that he was, he was trying to make things happen for himself, right? So as Black women, we have to learn to take accountability for our part and what we do. So don't try to make someone feel sorry for you or bash someone, because these were the options and the choices that you chose to make. He's just there. He didn't make you do anything. In 10 years of me knowing him, Darion has only asked me for $150. And that was something that he needed. And he said, okay, I'll give it back. So the person that they're saying, oh, he's a womanizer, well, you were making yourself as a target. So when men do it, when women do it, and they see a man and he got money and they're going out to try to get money from this man, it's okay. But when a man does it, then, oh my God, and he's this and he's that. Like, no, that's not how that works. That's not how it works. It goes both ways. So if you allow yourself to be open and subject yourself to be in that position, then that's totally up to you. But do the work that you need to do for self, so that you don't put yourself in that situation again.
Right. Okay. So, wow. I mean, that is true. I will admit that as far as if a man goes for a woman or has a woman take care of him, it doesn't hit the same as if a woman finds a man that has money and she's taken care of by her man. So I understand that reference with that statement. So, and you said he didn't do these things with you as far as money or whatever. So for you, this is foreign as far as hearing the things that you heard in the first interview. The second interview kind of was a little bit along the sign as far as the same as you, as far as not agreeing with what Dina said in the first interview. The person that she met was somebody completely different as well. So not saying that you're gonna, and I don't want you to bash or anything like that, but like I said to each interview I had, not every man is perfect. We know that they have their faults or whatever. So can we blame, or just are we putting all the blame on the woman that paid for whatever?
Listen, as a spiritual being, right? We're all spiritual beings having a human experience. Okay. So you have to take accountability for what you allow to happen on your journey. Okay. And that's just the bottom line. There are situations where, when we first found out we were pregnant, we were separated, and he asked to come back home. He asked to be around while I was pregnant, and I chose for him not to be around. You know what I'm saying? Right. I chose to, to have, what I considered peace over, him being in that aspect. I have to take accountability for my own actions. If you allow someone to come into your life knowing that you are financially stable, you're financially set, and this person is not financially set, or this person is trying to get their life back together, you know what you're coming into, right? You cannot expect equal reciprocity, and that's equal give and take from someone that you know is not on their stuff. You knew this, so you took the gamble in the hopes that this person would love me and be there for me and give me this and give me that. It's the same bitterness that you have when she said he's like a child. You take something away from him, then he has a fit. Well, that's what you're having, because she thought that he was going to have a relationship and marry her and do all of these things. But in actuality, that's what it wasn't. There's other things that happened, which is why he ended up wanting to leave, that had to do with her when they were there. But at that time, I was just coming back from Florida. So she mentions, he runs back and forth to Tampa. I'm pretty sure he went to Tampa, but he definitely had to come to Orlando because his son was in Orlando. So he had to come down to visit his son. I sold my house in 2018. I moved back to Orlando. That's where I'm from. And he had to come down and see his son. So, and amongst whatever else that he was doing, he is, he's him. He's who he is. And so you're married unless you're single. Marriage, when you speak on marriage, when you speak on people that are polygamous and you speak on people that are non-religious, marriage is something completely different. He's not married to anyone right now, as to where that I know that he's in a relationship and it's monogamous. So, I'm not sure if it was supposed to be a situation where, I don't know if he did it for what reason, but it's not out of love. It's not out of any of those aspects of it.
Right. Yeah, there is something going around. People are saying that he is still married and things of that nature. And it's been like a marriage license been floating around all over social media.
Right.
As far as him being married still or whatever. I have no idea. But
Never seen it myself. So
you said, I'm sorry? You said
never
what?
seen it myself.
Oh, really? Okay. So a lot of things that she said you're disputing, and I understand, especially when it comes to you, because you were referenced quite a bit, and I didn't know who, but obviously, I was putting together now what you're saying.
Right.
Is it everything that she said that you're disputing, or is it just things about you, or are you? I'm trying to figure out, is this about things about you or about him as well? About
So
what she said about him.
when it comes to me, she was definitely wrong. I'm not the one that's gonna be around his little friends. I don't play that. I don't like energy, right? I don't like other people's energy. So people only know what he tells them in reference to me. So don't get on a large platform. I have a brand myself. Don't get on a large platform and repeat something about me that you don't know, right? That's one. For two, it's like a lot of the things that she was saying in reference to Darian, was kind of off. Her story and her experience with him, I can't dispute that because she has the right to speak on how it is that she felt when it comes to him. She has the right to speak on. She has the right to speak on how he made her feel.
Mhm.
But my thing to her is, sweetie, take accountability. You can make as much money as you want to, but apparently there's some self-esteem issues that you felt like you had to get someone and pour so much into them and run and bash them, on Beyonce's internet because you didn't get the outcome that you wanted.
Mm, interesting. Well, do you know of Kona? Because I know you said you get a chance to watch her interview, but do you know of her?
No.
Did you know of Dina because y'all communicated? That is correct?
No, okay. She's saying she communicated with his other baby mother that he
Okay.
has 2 kids with. That's
Okay.
another one. She's gonna make sure she's on every scene to try to make sure that everybody knows she's gonna never stop sleeping with him. But they not together. He's not, nothing like that. I'm the youngest one that she said we met in the same circle and we had a child and we were together for 2 years and then he left. Yeah, that wasn't true.
Okay. So
I'm the one that no one knows anything about because he
right.
definitely keeps that separate.
Mm-hmm. And what's the reason why he does that? It's just he don't want you part of anything.
He knows that my energy is very different. I
Okay.
don't tolerate the low vibrational energy. I don't the threesomes and we're not doing any
Right.
of that,
Right.
right?
Gotcha.
Me, I am very much into my spirituality. And so most of the things that he has going on, that doesn't align with he and I. So I don't like my children posted on social media. As you found me on Instagram, you don't see
Mhm.
my kids on my Instagram page, because
Right.
it's business. So I'm just very night and day. I don't need the attention from Darian. But I am going to definitely step up to his name. You're not going to just drag his name, when you put yourself in a situation. But, I have my own business and my own structure. So I'm not a woman that, my self-esteem is intact and I'm very well taken care of.
Okay. So, I mean, I understand your stand up as far as women, but you're also saying at the same time, I'm not going to let anyone bash, my child's. And the same, I understand what you're saying. I don't post my kids
Right.
on my stuff. You don't see them or anything. So I 100%, 100% understand that. And I even understand, like I said to you earlier, I'm wanting to stand up for the father of your child. Like I said, I don't get along with mine that much, but
We
I
don't
would
get
stand
along
up.
that much either, girl.
I mean, I
We
would stand up for him. I would. Right. I will stand up for him if I felt like he was being dragged and things of that nature.
Right.
I would. So I do get that 100%. But and I've said this before. Do you feel like that you guys met a different Darian? That necessarily each one of you guys met someone different. As far as Kona, she met him, I forgot, 20 years ago or however long it was. Dina a couple of years back here, and you said you know him for 10 years. So do you feel like that he probably has shown you guys a different side of him? And
There's
it's
a
what.
Darion and there's a Smoke. So
Mm,
that's the difference. Smoke is going to get what he can get, however he gonna get it. Smoke is the hustler. Smoke is gonna make it happen. Darion is a loving, uh, a loving individual. He's a great father. He cares about other people's emotions. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
you have to understand that you're gonna by default, you're gonna get two different sides of him. It's just all about how he look at you, how he perceive you in the role that you play in his life.
Oh
That's it.
wow. Okay. So as far as um the thing that's kind of going around, and even not even necessarily talking about the show, it is like he is. Now I'm not gonna say deadbeat father. Maybe it's just not a good dude to be in a relationship with. You see what I'm saying? Not somebody you want to be with. That is kind of the narrative, and then that's not including the show. Just people talking, people talking and putting their information or their experiences out there. Um, how do you feel about that?
Okay. In reference to him not being a good person to be with, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have multiple women that can step up and say the same thing, obviously the common denominator is Darion. But where's the accountability? Like, everybody has to take accountability on their part, right?
Okay.
For me, and the reason why we separated, it was just we were growing in two different directions, right?
Okay.
So I was going and tapping deeper into my spiritual journey. And, he was definitely working on himself, right? And trying
Okay.
to be a better person.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as relationship goes, I don't know their experiences, and who's to say that they were even in a relationship? You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
he doesn't take the word relationship too kindly. And so he's like, the one thing about him is he's slick. He can be up under you. You can do all the relationship things, but if y'all never put a title on it and you never heard it out of his mouth, then you weren't even in a relationship with him. You thought you were, but you were.
Gotcha. Wow. Okay. So you feel like that's what was going on with the women, because I know that they're, like you said, she's not white. I think that Kona said she was Greek or whatever. So you know about those different, the lawyer, because it seems like they all look a character now at this point to me. But the lawyer, the Greek, the wife or whatever, the African wife, I believe. I'm just telling you what the keywords that I have seen and heard on blogs, everything else. Do you know anything about any of that? Have you just heard a little bit, or you have no idea?
If you are in Darion's life, then you know the key people in his life. I
Okay.
have heard of the attorney. I have never met the attorney. The Greek girl, she's been around for a very long time. Like, we are spiritual beings, so we look at things a lot different than religious people, right? And it's not like, like I said, he and I are not even on the best terms right now.
Okay.
But it takes a lot that I can't go into. He'll explain when he gets ready to explain it,
Mm-hmm.
if he even cares about it. But, I know of, the people that are around him and, or was once at one point around him. Why?
Okay.
Because, again, she spoke about his mother telling him this, his mother telling him that. And that's the same thing. Like, yeah, his mother told me everything. And I'm
Mm.
a boy mom myself. There's no way in hell that I'm sitting down with anybody telling anybody anything about my son. Okay. I have a 20-year-old son. And then my oldest is 20. My youngest is 3. Okay. Under
Okay.
no circumstances am I sitting around talking to anyone in reference to my son. What that let me know is that his structure, his foundation, the people that he lean on and look to, the wood, the foundation wasn't built of concrete. It's built of wood, right?
Mhm.
So you think that you're getting something good coming from his mother because it's his mother, but her intentions when it comes to him aren't always in the best place, right?
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, if you're around him and you met the mother, then you've heard all types of stories. But again, neither here nor there.
Right.
The only
Right.
thing I care about is how he is when it comes to me, how he is when
Okay.
it comes to his son.
Right. And I understand you said y'all, like I said, every mother of the child, the father, it's always like a up down, whatever it is. Everybody has a story. So for you, because what it was, as far as her, I thought it was, what I was told was an expose or something you were working on. I don't have like the, because it wasn't like clear. So like you were going to do something, um, write something about y'all situation past. I'm not sure. That's what this originally started in the first place. Like, okay, what nothing came out. I didn't see anything. So what was it that she was going to allegedly expose or say or whatever?
So, like, Darian is very extra, right? I'm a book author. I have 10 books out. I don't know. I'll send you the link. You can put it down
Yeah.
below. I have 10 books out, and at one time he pissed me off so bad. I was like, I'm gonna write a story about this, right? But I never wrote a story.
You never told a story. You were just in that moment mad. I understand.
Yeah, I'm a goddess, right? And
Right.
so keep in mind that regardless of what goes on, like I still have to deal with him. I still have a soul tie, and like everyone looks for drama, right? We all look to tear down each other, let alone tear down our black men and our black men trying to tear down our black women, right? We got
Right.
enough that we go through. So in this interview, if you know that he was trying so hard to get on his feet, and mind you, she said, oh, he said he wanted to do acting. Well, what is he doing right now? Right. So it wasn't that he was lying to you. It was that you were just thinking that it was more than what it was, and you became very clingy. But I digress. The thing is that we always try to tear each other down. So why are you bashing him, on Beyonce's internet when he worked so hard to get back to where he once was, right? There was there's always bad energy, but he doesn't care because guess what? It's still keeping his name alive. It's still keeping him active, So
Right.
we really have to work better at trying to stop tearing each other down and work on our issues. Take accountability for what we did. Take accountability for our position, because I took accountability for my position. And again, like I said, there's no way that I'm going to come on here and bash Darian. Our son name is Darian. So
Right.
this is something that you can take and be like, well, this is what she said. Yeah, no, like it's all about accountability.
Yes. Yes. And I understand what you're saying too when you say as far as women having accountability, what I'm saying, as far as our past transgressions or just anything that we've done in general. And I get that. I do. But the thing of it is, if everyone is saying so many, there's a different thing about this one person, there has to be some truth in that, is what I'm trying to say. There has to be some truth in it, even if it's bad. Okay.
And maybe there is.
I mean, I'm just saying it's just too. I mean, I'm not saying that everything is true, because I don't. There's so many sides to a story that there are gonna be some things that's been lied about, stretched a bit, but I can't. You have to look at it. If, like I told my children before, if everyone is saying something about you, like you were saying earlier, maybe you need to look in the mirror and see if it's you. If they're all saying similar things, and one or two people are saying that's not true. So I'm saying that to say some of that stuff that's been said about him obviously was true. Maybe you didn't experience it, or maybe you did, and you just like, hey, I'm not gonna, like I was saying to you, as far as I have my own ex, and I don't have the great thing to say about him, but if somebody came out and dragged him through the mud, I know myself, I probably would come up and say some positive things about him. But I also know that there is some negative things that he has done. I can't lie about that, regardless of how much I want to stand up for somebody else. So I'm saying that to you because you're being the queen, like you said, a goddess, and you're coming on here and you're speaking your side about the interview, but you're also saying he's a good dude. He takes care of his baby. He's a good father. And I believe that. I know that a lot of things have been put out there negative about him, but I do believe that he probably does love his children and wants to be there for his kids. But is it possible in those times of maybe what Dean is speaking about or anybody else, that he wasn't doing the right thing? Maybe I'll say it like that. I don't know how to.
Okay, I get what wholeheartedly, and I don't want you to feel like I'm on here and like I'm just refusing to look at any low vibrational energy or anything that he may have done or what, because none of us are without fault, you nor I, right? We've all had our times. But keep in mind, just even for the Christian folk that do believe in the Bible and Jesus Christ, they talked about him, right?
Yeah.
Everybody jumped on board and
Mhm.
down him, right? Because they're like, well, if everybody else is doing it, I'm going to do it too.
Mhm.
So when you say that if everybody is saying the same thing, how, something has to be true, that's not necessarily true. Now, everyone can have their experience with him. And why can't it be everyone see who he is? He's Smoke from Field Mob, okay? He's a
Mhm.
chocolate brother. He looks good. And, obviously he doing something to him in the bedroom that got him all going crazy. So
It's something.
at what point is it that we're going to stop and say that these women want to be around him so much that they're offering and trying to buy love? So why
Mm.
that he has to be wrong? So I hear your side, but what I'm trying to get you to understand is that there's not enough self-love for our people. We don't love ourselves enough to where we feel like we have to buy love and buy companionship. So if someone is offering you something and you think they're not going to take it,
Of course.
like
Of
y'all,
course.
all these women offering him, okay, well, I want to help you get on. Why? Because everybody want to be the next thing. Everybody
Yes.
want to be, okay, I'm Smoke's wife. None of you will be that. You know what I'm saying? Not even I,
Mm.
because
Mhm.
that's something that I'm not trying to accomplish. But
Gotcha.
everyone wants to be attached to somebody that has something going on. So
I
look
agree.
at the flip side to this. Am I saying that he did absolutely nothing wrong? No, I'm not. But when you look at the narrative of the situation, don't just automatically assume that it has to be right or that he did anything wrong. He's just been who he is.
So does that okay? So with that being said, does it excuse anything?
It's
Because
that he
and
took the
hold
money
on,
that they
I
offered.
understand. I understand what you're saying as far as women, because women do have to take fall for their choices. If you decide, and I believe she did, I said a lot in my interview, but for any woman, I'll say this too. If a friend of mine was to complain and say, well, he took my car or whatever it is, okay, well, you gave him the keys. You allowed to happen every day. You've never stopped him. I've had people I've known, and I've had this conversation where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
you're getting mad, but you're giving him your keys, and then you have nowhere to go all day or whatever it is. So
Right.
I get that. We hear with that. I've had these conversations. Like, girl, I've had people, I don't want to even hear it. You're mad because
Let
something
me
that
help
you
you
are
because
a
I know
part
where
of.
you're going. Can no one can do anything to you that you don't allow them to do. So
Mm-hmm.
how can he be wrong when you allowing these things to happen?
But just because the women are allowing it doesn't mean the man's not wrong. I
Listen,
mean, well, how does that excuse the man because she's wanting to
what is your
love,
definition of wrong?
like you said, buy the love or whatever, buy the love from the man, which women do all the time. But that doesn't make that it takes two people anyway. Okay, and like you said, I do agree with this too. Yes, if someone's like, you can have my car, my money, who gonna, well, depending on the person, they may say no, but majority of the time they're gonna say yes. Give me your keys, give me your coin, I'm gonna spend it.
Right,
I mean, that's just being a human, honest.
right.
But I have two boys that I have two kings, and I'm raising them. I would not be pleased if my son was riding around some woman's car and he don't have a job and he's not contributing anything and he's just living off that woman. As a mother, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
just period. I would have something to say about that. Like, I mean, I probably couldn't stop it. He's still in the grown, but you think I would have plenty to say? Like, no.
Okay, so here's the thing. You just said a mouthful. Like, pay attention to the words of what we're saying. Let's get to the bottom of it. If this man did not have anything to offer and he didn't have anything to bring to the table, it was her that brought him in, knowing he had nothing to offer and he had nothing to bring to the table. So yes, as a mother, you would be upset that they're riding around. But if she's allowing it to happen, then what do you think? How is he wrong? He's doing what she allows him to do.
We'll have to disagree on that one. I agree that she has to take accountability. Well, I'm just being honest. I agree that a woman has to take accountability, period. I mean, in every situation, you lay down everything you're doing and they cry or complain, I'm pregnant or whatever it is, even myself included, you have to take accountability for your actions as a woman. You just have to.
Mhm.
But I'm not going to excuse a man because she's doing that for whatever reason. Love, care, support, whatever reason. And the self-love part,
Yeah.
I like that you said that because as far as women, we don't. why would it even be okay? Because you said yourself, you never did that. You said out the whole time, you said 10 years you've known her, you gave her $150. Okay.
Right.
From you heard the interview, she gave because she loved and cared about him. Not saying you didn't, I'm just saying that's probably her position. You know, I'm not speaking for her, but or any other woman who said, well, I loved him. If you ask any woman to answer, why did you do all that? Why did you? I loved him. That's the answer. Am I wrong? Am I right? That's the
That's
answer I'm going to
the
give you.
answer. So that means that there's an issue with self. You need to figure out what love is. Love is an ever-changing emotion. So you're in a situation because someone is telling you something, someone is making you feel good, and you feel like you have to pour into them. But I love Darion dearly, right? And my love is tough love when it comes to Darion. My love is sitting down having those conversations. Okay, you need to do this. You need to switch this up. So we all are different when it comes to that, especially those that don't understand what love really is.
Right.
Because you got to love yourself before you can love anybody else.
Gotcha. Yeah, this is true. Self-love is super important. And I don't think a lot of people realize that is you have to love yourself. How can you love anybody if you don't love yourself? So I do agree with that. And a lot of these things are lessons. Every woman has go through lessons with men. Unfortunately, sometimes we have to fall on our head before we realize that ground is too hard. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever.
Right.
Or that stove is too hot. You have to burn your fingers and realize, I shouldn't have touched that. So,
Right.
and you have obviously have grown, and you're because being a mother, it makes you grow anyway. But it's very obvious. You have your books, you have your own brand. You have moved on since all this has happened. But it was an honor for you to come on here because of the fact that you do have a past with him, and he is the father of your child, and you wanted to give your side and your experience, and you also wanted to speak on the first interview. And I know you had to Kona, but Kona, I think you guys to me were still different. Yes, she was championing him, but I felt like you are championing him, but you also are speaking about things that he's not done right as well. I'm not saying Kona doesn't feel that way, but I just feel like if you watch the interview, you'll see what I'm saying. It's two different. It's two different interviews. Okay. And I know you said you didn't know of her because it seemed like she made it seem like she was part of the circle or whatever you said, like the key people in his life. That's why I was kind of a problem. You said you didn't know who Kona was because she said she's known her for over 10 years. I mean, I don't.
For 20. Yeah. Well, I don't
20 years.
Like that's not my thing because I have my own thing going on. Right. So, I can't sit around him. I don't want to sit around him. We still have to communicate. We still have to deal with each other. We still have to see each other. That's him because I have my own life going on that I'm busy. So I'm not trying to sit around. I'm not trying to know any of your friends, your partners, or none of that. That's not my role in your life. We were divinely guided to create a son, and that's my only how he treats me, how he treats his son. That's all that I really try to interact with.
100%. Much respect too. Much respect. You have your channel, which can you tell us a little more about? Because I want you to tell a little more about your channel. I know it's the Tarot Card reading. I'm not familiar with this, so you have to explain a little more about that. It's not my expertise at all.
Well, yes, I'm a spiritual goddess. So on my channel, it's a lot of spiritual enlightenment. It's a lot of, I do tarot readings every single day. I have 7 signs currently that I read for. Aquarius, Pisces, Gemini, Leo, Sagittarius, Taurus, and Capricorn, I think is who I currently read for. But I upload videos and, we have just open conversation in reference to, life in general and itself. And, I really get in tune with spirit and, offer divinely guided messages to my subscribers.
Gotcha. Okay. So I will be sharing the YouTube and your tarot Instagram to the description. So as the video pops up, they'll be able to see all your different things that you provide, and just so they can follow you, because your videos I saw they have numbers, and she actually does have a brand. So I could kind of understand why she probably has separated herself and created her own journey, her own lane, and not really been attached to all these things. She didn't even know about the interviews. So that lets me further know. She's like, look,
and we have some type of conversation, on a regular basis. But of course, that was nothing that he brought up to me. And I was like, I sent him the interview, and I was like, what is this? And like, what is this? What's happening? So, that's one of those things that it's like, he has his life and I have mine, and that's just what it is. We come together for the greater good. I just know, like I said, he's not perfect. No one is perfect, right? We just really have to start taking accountability for our own actions and what we do. So, if you felt like it was such a hard time that you had with him in a relationship, then,
Right.
hopefully you guys learn from that. And you don't put yourself out there as much, when it comes to the next relationship. That's the advice that I can advise of you going forward.
Right. I do feel like that, Dina doing what she did, it took courage to come on a video and let everybody know about her experience, because she didn't look, I'm sorry, she didn't look good in any light, and a lot was going on. So I feel
Was that
like it was,
courage or hate, though? So,
I'm sorry,
was that courage or was that hate? Was that
hate.
despise?
That's a strong word.
You got to
Strong
use the
word.
right word. She didn't have anything, almost nothing. Even when she tried to make it positive, it still looked dirty. You know what I'm saying? So that wasn't courage. You can't give courage to that. You're deeply bothered. And all of the things that he said that he wanted to do, he's now doing them. And you're so bothered by this experience because you were a lot of the reason why he left.
You saying she was the reason why he left?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, maybe this is something that maybe you just saying because you know the information. You just saying
I
because
know information, but I'm not speaking on anybody else's relationship.
Gotcha.
But like
no, I'm not asking you.
I was just coming back from Florida when all of this was happening, But they were not. They were not together, much longer after I came back from Florida. So I don't know.
Wow. So I mean, everybody has a different version of the story. It seems like to me. Wow.
A lot of sides.
Yes, that's usually how it goes. And somewhere in the middle is the truth, isn't it?
If he ever speaks up, you'll know. Darion is very intelligent, right? And he's very truthful.
Okay.
More truthful than he should be at times. But I doubt. I don't know if he will speak up in reference to it because I know he's so nonchalant. He just doesn't care because he knows that this is not. This is not who he is right now. This is not who he's living in the moment as.
Okay, well, I don't know if he's going to speak up or not. I have no idea. But, I mean, I appreciate you coming on here and giving me your truth. And you are very straight put to the point. I love that as well. It was very, very easy to answer questions because you just gave it. You gave it what needed to be done. So, I appreciate your time coming on. And